right along, our pupil personnel budget. Lynn Rafalik is with us to walk us through, in similar fashion, the finances and a quick little program update regarding all things PPS as we look toward next year.
Move the microphone. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here to present the 2017-18 Pupil Personnel Services budget. Before I move into the budget presentation, I just would like to welcome to the Board of Ed Ms. Danielle Elkins. She joined our PPS team as an assistant director in late October.
Welcome.
Danielle oversees the elementary division, mostly focusing on CPSE and providing that continuity of service and oversight for the 3 elementary schools. Jean Gizmervik, our other assistant director, is home with her two little ones tonight. So just as an overview, you're going to see the 2-year budget summary comparisons with all of the facts and figures of our program. When you think about pupil personnel services, it's encompassing special education and all the related service providers, as well as the programs and services for all of our kids within district and also out of district. You see the revenues that are currently being brought in by mainly tuition-based students as well as our federal grants. You'll get a snapshot of our student placements and enrollment for next year. As always, we follow that continuum of service, and you'll see student classifications and projected staffing for PPS staff members, and then our next steps and focus areas for the following school year. As always, too, our commitment in our work is to provide the least restrictive environment for all of our students in all programs. It's required by law when we hold a Committee on Special Education meeting that we talk about the least restrictive environment, the environment where the student is with their peers or have the ability to be educated in that environment where they don't need a lot of supports. And again, providing that continuum of services, and you'll get a snapshot of that, of the gamut of services and programs that we have while we use instructional strategies to improve kids both in the academic arena and also the social emotional area. This is a 2-year budget summary comparison from 16-17 to 17-18 school year. You'll see that the largest impact really falls in the area of teacher aides and assistants. In addition to that, you'll see some areas of decrease as well. You'll see also at the bottom of the screen, each year as we place students in programs, sometimes we flip-flop between students in private placement or students who attend BOCES. And you'll see decreases in the private school area, but increases in our relationship and our services in the BOCES area. I want to just mention to the Board of Ed that there is an additional budget code that was not there last year. It's the non-instructional after-school code. That is for our students who are currently in the academic, behavior, and communication classes at the high school who have the opportunity to participate in extracurricular activities, sports, clubs. And so we have students who need aids in those areas to participate in those programs. And that is a wonderful thing. As Tommy is talking about the athletic program, we have kids participating in wrestling, in track, and the extracurricular clubs.
So that's the increase in the aids?
Yes. Yep, they definitely need support in those areas as they participate in the sports. They need to be able to have somebody with them during unstructured times in the league events. You'll see that we also decreased in the equipment area. Last year we put some more monies into the ABC program that was moving from the middle school to the high school. So we bought particular furniture and supplies for that area, but this year we're decreasing that. Everything else is pretty much staying pretty relatively the same in the area of hospital tutoring, tuition, contractual expenditures, and material and supplies for our offices and within our schools. These are the revenues that we currently bring into the school or into our district. We have a grant called the 619 grant, which basically focuses on 3 to 5-year-olds or preschool. It's a very small grant, and we stay around the $20,000 to $23,000 dollar amount each year that's provided to us or allocated to us. And then in the 611 grant, that's 5-year-olds to 21-year-olds, we get $568,160 in that area, and that stays pretty consistent, that allocation from year to year. The biggest increase is the tuition. We have been serving students from other area school districts. Students are coming into our academic behavior and communication classes, and so we're able to charge tuition for those students while they're coming into Hen Hunt and being part of our school community and programs.
So do we have students here who have not graduated but are almost 21? So we're
not currently in our high school setting. We have students within special education that could be in integrated code talk classes or receiving services in the resource room area or related service area, but not approaching 21.
not approaching. Okay, I was just.
We have students mainly in our out-of-district program who are some of them are leaving this year, especially a student in the residential area who's 21.
So we have a responsibility to educate special ed students up until 21 or graduation, which...
Absolutely, yes. Just to show you the IDA grant breakdown, most of our monies are in salaries for each one of the grants. And then the purchase services under the 611 grant are mainly our monies that we provide to approved special ed providers, other schools that we pay money, flow through monies through. The supplies and materials under the 611 grant fall mainly in the area of providing protocols for testing and evaluation, and then particular OT, PT supplies as well. The travel expense was an opportunity for me this year, just recently in the last 2 weeks, to attend a Harvard Medical School conference, K-12 school mental health. I go each year and I learn an abundance of information to bring back to the district in regards to this year. It was executive functioning skills, a focus on refugee children and trauma, focus on mindfulness. Our unique middle schoolers is one topic. And in every single one of the topics presented at Harvard, there is a focus on the area of brain research that is really eye-opening to learn in the development of the student brain. In the 619 grant, it's that $10,000 figure supports a secretarial staff that works in the CPSE area. And then again, those purchase services are monies that our kids are in approved special ed provider schools. These are our student placements projected for next year. Obviously, we are in the midst of doing our CSE, Committee on Special Education meetings, but we're well underway with both of the two assistant directors and teams at each of the buildings to conduct our CSE meetings. We currently have 311 students within special education in our district. 284 of them are in district in our schools, in our 5 schools. 13 of them attend BOCES, 7 of them in our other public schools. 4 students are in approved private. 1 student is in residential, and 2 students are in state-supported schools, School for the Deaf. In our preschool area, we have about 61 students that are placed in preschool. You'll see at the bottom of that slide the asterisk with the RS. That stands for Related Services. We currently have students who are in our Hendrick Hudson School District who receive services from Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES and Southern Westchester BOCES. It's particular staff members, a teacher of the deaf and a teacher of the visually impaired, who come into our district and service for students in the related services area.
Was that what the superintendent was talking about from BOCES when he was here?
I don't recall him talking about the
He was talking
He was talking about they ran
Just
around
our-
for Blue Mountain.
Oh, that
Yeah,
program,
regional.
we currently, have occupied space, a BOCES class in our Blue Mountain Middle School and have for years. These are our students projected in district rolling up enrollment and based on CSEs for next year. Again, that 284 number is the enrollment, and you can see it's broken out by grade level. I haven't noted anything in the kindergarten area. Our teams have been out in the approved preschool looking and observing our students. We're projecting that we have 34 to 5-year-olds with 10 of our students coming in to either most likely be in integrated co-taught classes or 3 possibly being slated for the EDC classes. You'll see the numbers, as you see larger numbers in that looping of grade levels, that's based on our integrated co-taught classes. So for instance, when you see 15 in grade 4 at Buchanan Verplank, or even 8 in the first grade classes, those are integrated co-taught classes.
About the elementary enrollment, special ed enrollment seems to be significantly lower than our middle school and high school annually. It looks like it's decreasing. Are we going to have
We are going to have a bubble in 2 years, I believe, Joe, of kids coming up. Yes, it is lower. And in the area of Blue Mountain Middle School, we actually are seeing an increase in enrollment this next coming school year from 84 students to 95 students. And vice versa, in the high school, we'll be seeing a decline of about 10 students. We had 116 special ed students this year with 106 for the 17-18 school year.
So we have flexibility to move staff from school to school?
That is our hope, yes. It also is based on certification as well. Sometimes we have special education teachers who are K through 12 certified, or they're certified in the early grades or the middle grades or the high school grades in a particular content subject area.
And program too, if it's co-teach versus resource room versus ABC. There are different caps and calculations of what the breakdown of special ed and non-special ed students can be in the classroom. So that all drives staffing.
Yeah, it just looks significantly lower. It's like the elementary grades probably average about 18 or 20, and the middle school's averaging about 30 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get there, it's going to be a
decline. Could be, yes.
Is it because we are doing a better job of identifying and remediating students' needs, or is it just because there's a lower enrollment in the elementary schools?
I think both. I really believe that it is based on enrollment, but we are always working under the RTI, response to intervention model. We're really looking at our students. If they don't need to be classified in special ed, they may be falling under the umbrella of having a 504 accommodation plan, so you're not seeing those numbers here. So those students still may be getting services, they don't fall under the special education umbrella. These are our out-of-district students, which I've kind of already mentioned, but it shows the area of schools and BOCES that we partnership to service our students. I oversee the students in these programs. It allows me to, number one, work with students and families with more intensive needs, but also for me to be able to keep my finger on the pulse of the budget with out-of-district placements.
Do you have a difference in achievement rates for students that are out of district and in district? Graduation, do we graduate at a different rate?
I can get you those. We have students who will be graduating with many different types of credentials. We have two students graduating this year with a skills and achievement commencement credential. It's called
That's the new one?
Yes, it's one of the new ones.
Yeah.
We also have students who are going for the Career Development and Occupational Studies, the CDOS. We have students in there who are also going for a Regents Diploma letter in private schools. So a range of those. This is the projected staffing for next year. You can see that we're staying pretty much the same as last year. We did some additional hiring last year due to the movement of the ABC classroom at the high school. We're staying pretty stable in this area.
The ABC program at Frank G, how does it, I mean, when you look at this, it looks like they're staffed higher, but the ABC program is really sort of an autonomous program within the building.
Sure. The ABC program, 3 of our classes, we call them ABC 1, 2, and 3, are located at Frank G. Lindsay School. The staffing composition for those classes are 8 students to 1 teacher to 2 teaching assistants. But Frank G. is also a larger elementary where we also have resource room students as well as integrated co-taught classes as well. The staffing in the ABC classes involve that teacher, the teaching assistant, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, working with kids on social skills, social, emotional, and behavioral aspects of the program as well.
So it's a little bit more intense than those SPED programs in the other buildings.
It is. The staff composition is much more heavy. You see a lot more adults in that area based on the needs of the students in that area, both their language needs, their learning needs, and their behavioral needs.
So that's why we see a higher proportion of staff in Frank G.
That's correct. This is just the continuum of services that I always want to keep, program and services that I always want to keep in mind for everybody to know. You know, we have the consultant teacher and related services model, and a lot of our kids receive related services under the 504 umbrella. We have resource room where there are no more than 5 students in that class. We have integrated co-teaching classes where we cannot have more than 12 students in that class. We have special class in district at the middle school and the high school level where we have 15 students, 1 teacher and 1 teaching assistant in those classes. We also have special class situations in both BOCES and other public schools. We have kids in our private day and then 1 student in residential. These are the classifications of students projected for next year that will be receiving services. The largest amount really fall in the learning disabled area. Then next is other health impairment, and then speech language, and then the autism, and then we have some students who are multiply disabled, orthopedically impaired, students who have hearing difficulties as well as visual impairments in those categories. So this is where our students are classified in according to New York State regulations. These are our next steps in our work as our leadership team in PPS moves forward. You will probably, some of you may see that is an exact replica of what I presented last year. To make a systems change that we talk about a lot takes time, and it takes commitment and persistence in particular areas, persistence in improving instruction in special ed, continued development in the programs in the ABC classes, especially as the kids get older and need those vocational opportunities. We are in the process of writing a comprehensive counseling program that meshes the work of a school counselor with psychologists and social workers with the overall comprehensive plan. And we thank the Board of Ed and the work that we've been doing in dialectical behavior therapy. We're getting to be not only well known for our ABC program, but our work in DBT and our work in mental health. I currently am serving on the administrative regional crisis team for Putnam Northern Westchester, as well as the regional crisis team. I also serve on the Peekskill Coalition for Mental Health, and as of tomorrow, I have been invited to serve on the advisory group for mental health in Westchester County. So we're doing a lot of good work in those areas, but it takes more than 1 year to do that kind of work. With our training with our clinicians this year in DBT and our school counselors in the spring with DBT, we also want to map and implement K-12 social emotional curriculum. It's not all DBT based. It's based on other parts of social emotional learning curriculums, and it's going to be a hen-hut curriculum. So we'll have factors of DBT, second step, and writing up our own series of curriculum and lessons for kids that we work with who have social emotional needs. And that work will not only be with special ed students, but also with all students in the district. And any questions you may have, I'd be willing to answer.
Okay, thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
That's what I'm laughing about.
You were patient, Bill. You were patient there.
How, in terms of graduation rate, how are we seeing success in improving that for special education students?
I think
Are we increasing our rate?
we are getting more students out the door in the 4-year period. I still think that we can get better with that. I don't have the actual statistic for you this evening, but I could provide that for you.
But also what I want to see, not just graduating, they're graduating with something useful that they can walk out the door.
Mm-hmm. We have students that get specialized instruction in special ed. We have students who attend our career vocational center. We're working on that CDOS credential for more students to have opportunities within our school community to engage in vocational experiences. And as we build the program in ABC, again, those continued vocational experience as well.
And I would say, I took my mic off, just let me talk. Some anecdotal data. Lynn and I met with a family a couple weeks ago who was who wanted assurances that their daughter who has special needs in an IEP would receive the support she needs for honors and AP classes at the high school. And there was an acknowledgement from some of the staff at the high school saying, this is new for me too. Usually, we don't have students with IEPs or with certain needs in this level of rigorous courses. So there's that side of the equation too, that there are kids who are challenging themselves, and just because you have an IEP, you're not necessarily pigeonholed. And that's coming from staff, which is a really great conversation to have.
Good. It's good to hear. I'd like to see our graduation rate of those kids merge toward our increasing graduation rate. Just continue to keep going up.
Thank you.
Thank you.